So it's an illustrious group, Gerald, that is that you're going to join. And I met Gerald a few years ago here at school, and it was a real no-brainer to bring him in and get him back home to Pierce. Get him out of that Palos Verdes area and bring him back to Woodland Hills. So, without any further ado, I think he's in trouble because his son's going to come up here right now. It's Andy Peeke. Andy, you got it, man.
All right, thank you, Bob. I was just challenged by my niece on my way up here to make everybody laugh at one time, so let's see if we can make that happen. It's really an honor to be up here and talk about my dad and induct him into the Pierce College Athletics Hall of Fame. My dad and I have always shared many interests, especially in sports, cars, music, cleavage. This event, my niece, I think that just counted as everyone laughing. This event has really brought my dad and I a lot closer. He's concerned about this turning into a roast of him. But after speaking to a lot of my dad's friends and high school friends and people that have known him through the years, it turns out the stories of his athletic prowess, his leadership, and his kind-heartedness really outweigh the fact that he's the oldest athlete ever to be inducted into the Pierce College Athletics Hall of Fame. And stories about all of those things also outweigh the story of his college teammate removing a very inconveniently placed ingrown hair that they had to deal with one time. That college teammate is Al Oliver. He was my dad's best man at his wedding. And when I spoke to Al on the phone last week, he said, "You know what, Andy? In life, there's just a handful of people that you can call a true friend. And your dad is one of those friends for me." And that really touched me to hear that about my dad, because I know what kind of guy he is and what guys like Al Oliver mean to my dad. And in talking to many of my dad's other friends and being around the Palos Verdes community where I grew up, I've realized that my dad is one of those guys that's fortunate to have well over just a handful of true friends, and many of them are here tonight in attendance. My dad grew up in Palos Verdes, as Bob mentioned, a very ideal place to grow up, but he did not have the most ideal childhood, something that not everyone here knows. Fortunately for my dad, he had some incredible mentors. Just 2 days ago, we actually had a surprise 50-year reunion with his junior high PE teacher, a martial arts guru and legend named Dan Inosanto, who trained alongside Bruce Lee and was on a number of TV shows. And in that surprise reunion 2 days ago, Dan Inosanto said the same thing that somebody even mentioned here earlier. A teacher is not supposed to have a favorite student. But Gerald, of all the students I had at Malibu Cove, you were my favorite. And that's something that really stood out to my dad and helped push him into the direction of focusing his skills in the direction of sports and having a career in athletics. Going on into high school, my dad was taken under the wing by Mike House, his wrestling and football coach. And recently, speaking to Mike House, he said, "In my career, I've coached and been around over 8,000 student athletes. And I can't think of any one student athlete that was a better person or a better athlete than your dad." And that says a lot about my dad and the kind of guy he was and how committed he was to his teammates and to his community. My personal story of finding out where my dad was not a normal person was when I decided to go to the University of Colorado. My dad contacted the strength coach and he said, "Hey, what's the bench press record there?" The strength coach in Colorado says 530 pounds. My dad says, "Okay, I'm going to start training." So, at 46 years old, my dad shows up at the University of Colorado when I go out there for summer training before my freshman year. My dad quietly starts warming up on the bench press, finds a spotter, and shortly thereafter, a small crowd starts gathering around him. And while my dad didn't break the record of 530 pounds, at 46 years old, he did bench press 520 pounds, which is rather impressive. You guys congratulate him on that, but I had to deal with the next 4 years of, this is Andy Peeke. He plays linebacker. By the way, you should see his dad. He's a beast. We don't know what happened to Andy. Thank you. I'd love to go on and do a really hardcore roast right now, but I know you guys are ready to wrap things up here. So I'll close with a quote, one of my dad's favorite quotes that he actually recently shared with me from the Bible. Iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another man. In this room and in the community where my dad grew up, there are many great men that have sharpened my dad and shaped my dad into the man that he's become. And we're all very proud of you, and we're all very grateful for everything that you've done for all of us. On behalf of my mother, my brother, and my 2 sisters, thank you so much, and we're very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Andy. That is going to be a hard act to follow. Thank you all for being so patient, and you know, thank you for coming. This is just such a special event. And you know, God's been good to me. He's made me rich out here with family and friends. But tonight's not about me. It's about the people who have loved me and supported me over the years. First, I'd like to thank my family, my wife Teresa, my son David, my daughter Drina, and Amy, would you please stand up?
Oh gosh, no.
I have to do this. Stand up, Amy. It's Amy's birthday today. And she chose, stay up. She chose to spend it here with me. And I mean, today is her birthday. And let's sing happy birthday to her. There we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome. She still looks 19, so mother of 2, wonderful wife. I'd like to thank my brother Gordon. He risked his life on the sideline of many of my games back in the days when we were taking films with Super 8 cameras and dodging me. He told the story of when I was running around the end, coming right at him. He didn't know if I was supposed to keep filming or just dive out of the way. So, thank you, Gordon. And my wrestling matches, too. I not only played football, but wrestled. And actually, I did track. I was a shot putter and a sprinter, believe it or not. Love track. And field. So, but as my son said, as the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And that's something that's really hits home with me. I'd like to thank my teachers and my coaches and teammates who took the time in my life to sharpen me. My son Andy mentioned Dan Inasano, who is just an amazing person, my junior high PE teacher who ignited my love and passion for sports. Jim Lundell was a local gym owner who had a tremendous enthusiasm and a great sense of humor, who was also a tremendous influence on me. But my high school coach, Mike House, coached me football, wrestling all 4 years at Palos Verdes High School. He was not only my history teacher, but he was my friend and my mentor. And as my son mentioned, home sometimes wasn't really very pleasant, and coaches made a difference in my life, people that really cared. My high school teammates, I have some here tonight, Don Gauze, Bob Pickard, and also some others. Craig Black's here, didn't play football or wrestling with him, but he's an amazing athlete. I appreciate your support. You guys are great. Don and Bob blocked for me. I used to be a fullback, believe it or not. I was a defensive lineman in college, but I was a fullback at one time. So whether I hit the hole or not, I made yardage because I just had to get out of the way. So, but you guys made me sharper. You made a difference. Moving on to Pierce, I got recruited here by Coach Erwin Goldblum. Can you stand up, Coach Goldblum? Coach Goldblum was my wrestling coach here at Pierce. He recruited me here. He was my teacher. I had him in class. He was my academic counselor, my friend, and just a great encourager, giving me direction and giving me my start out here at Pierce. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do, but Coach Goldblum brought me here. And just a quick story, I actually walked on to the football program. They didn't even know who I was. The coaches had no idea. And I came out for practice. They said, "What'd you play?" I said, "Linebacker." Okay. So 2 weeks later at a scrimmage, defensive tackle got injured, and they said, "Peeke, get in there, tackle." I go, "No problem." Got in there, had a great scrimmage, and that's where I stayed all through college. I was a defensive lineman. Loved every minute of it. But I want to acknowledge some of my teammates from Pierce. I have Jim Fenwick here, was a fantastic running back, and they scored so quick. I didn't get a chance to catch my breath. I was back out in the field playing defense. But along with Jimmy, Mark Harmon and Jimmy Allen, just amazing athletes, and they're also in the Hall of Fame. I feel honored to be the fourth member of that team in the Hall of Fame. Getting back to wrestling, Mark Mitchell's here. Mark Mitchell was on the wrestling team with me at Pierce, and he's just a fantastic athlete. And so, interesting thing with Mark, I played football and wrestled at high school with Mark, and he came out here to Pierce, and we wound up on the same wrestling team, which is really special, really special. So, I had something else real special happen here. Jimmy Allen and Mark Harmon and myself all got a ride to UCLA and got to play football together there. I played all 4 years with Jimmy Allen and Mark Harmon. And what a special thing to have Mark Harmon as a quarterback for 4 years, and Jimmy Allen backing me up as a defensive back, and just was wonderful. But there at UCLA, I met a great man and a wonderful friend, Al Oliver, who's sitting in the middle of the room here. He not only was my friend, but he was the best man at my wedding, and he's going to be my friend for life. And I've had some very special, not only coaches, but teammates, and they've all sharpened my life, making me a better athlete and a better person. So, as you can see, as iron sharpens iron, we all sharpen each other. I took what I learned as a player and what was given to me by my coaches and teammates, I gave to boys and young men that I now coach. I've been coaching football and wrestling after work for the last over 40 years, and it's just been a great joy for me to pass on what my coaches and teammates taught me. But Pierce really was a place that sharpened the rough edges of my life. My life was, was in preparation for the journey ahead. I will always treasure Pierce College for launching me forward into the next chapters of my life. And with a grateful heart, I want to thank Bob Lafrano and Pierce College for this great honor.